Welcome, everybody, to Campaigns and Concoctions, where we are a bunch of dastardly Denzians who like to drink and play TTRPGs. Thank you so much for joining us on this adventure of cooperative storytelling. As always, if you would like to get in touch with us, if you want to be more involved, you can hit us up on the links below. The trend continues as I point, except for remember, last week you got to see me point as you saw my ugly face as I posted our message. So you can click in the link below. There for our interwebby things, Discord, our Instagram, which has been quiet lately, but we're probably going to get back to it, you know, because we're busy people with real lives and, you know, shit happens. So,
right, yeah. We definitely are paid to do this. So,
yeah.
We are getting drunk.
We are getting drunk to do this, which is similar to being paid.
It's kind of like me.
I have taken a lot of payment in the form of alcohol over the course of my 38 years of life. Starting pretty early.
If we got paid to do this would sound much better.
Right? Yeah, exactly. And I don't think we'd have to skip as many sessions. And you know.
We'd be in a studio together, right. You know.
One place.
I was just telling Dustin, I was like, I'm watching a podcast that is basically one dude had enough money to build a shed in Texas that is their podcast house. Yeah, that'd be us if we had that kind of money.
Yeah, absolutely.
Well, so I know I asked before, and I always going to ask because sometimes things pop in our brains. Anyone got anything that we want to pitch before we roll into recap into to anything besides go see John at Hey Kiddo?
Yeah. Actually, on the note of Hey Kiddo, the Michelin Awards were a few days ago.
Yes.
And my restaurant did not get a star, but we did get Michelin Guide recommended, so we are in the Michelin Guide. Mm-hmm. That means that we swung and just barely missed a Michelin star, and as of the day before yesterday or something like that, we've been open for 8 months. So that feels pretty damn cool. And then 2 of our sister restaurants each got 2 Michelin stars. Bruto and Wolf's Taylor. I've eaten at Wolf's Taylor and it was fucking amazing. So go check out Wolf's, go check out Bruto. Go online and put in reservations for Wolf's, Bruto, and for Hey Kiddo, because there's no other way you're getting in any of those places anytime soon. Mm-hmm. Bruto, one of the Bruto guys told us that between the end of the Michelin Awards ceremony and when they got in to open the restaurant the next day, they had received 240 new reservations. So hop on it.
And,
otherwise,
and Bruto is like
a
week or 2 out to begin with.
Yeah, it's already a week or 2 out.
Someone who had been talking about going there for about a year and didn't pull the trigger on it.
If you want to have dinner there sometime in December, I would get on as soon as this airs and book a reservation.
Yeah, I was pretty excited when I saw that, when I got the email that the Michelin stars had come out in Denver and we had a whole new one, and I saw Hey Kiddo there as a recommendation.
Yeah,
I was pretty excited.
Super stoked. It's huge for us to get that, you know. And our chefs were very generous and gave a big nod to the bar team as well, which was very nice.
I visited Golden Moon Distillery, which is in Golden. It was pretty fun. Actually, I have 2 of their bottles tonight. One of our drinks is made with their Genepi, which is delicious. So just you can visit them. They do a $12 tour and then give you $10 off a bottle. So basically, The
That's a
tour
good
is
deal.
more or less free if you buy booze after. So
Nice.
yeah.
As always, go and please support local distilleries and breweries because that's what is so much better than these big companies. As much as they, some of them make good products, the local stuff is always better and it's always much more fun to support your local community. So, with that all being said, the last time we met, sans Matt, because I know he's probably very sad that this happened.
Ah.
Oh, yeah.
I'm really annoyed by that, but
Because it's funny because that where you guys walked was one of the very first events that as a DM I created for a table, so it was pretty cool. But the group eventually left Tinkermere to head to Bergheim, which is the home of the Lord Richter and his family. There they arrived in the Darkhold Archives, where they kind of walked out into a interesting kind of square public area and eventually made their way to the castle/fortress of the Lord Bergheim. Met the maitre d', a smallish character who fetched both Prosperin and then eventually the Lord Richter, where you had a brief conversation about, well, kind of ranging. But eventually the conversation made it to why the Lord Richter invited you here. And that was a room that seems to have been preserved when he separated the plateau from this dimension and placed it into its own pocket dimension. And then eventually he preserved it for study of someone at some point. As the six of you walked down, there was a kind of brief discussion as you walked through a fairly massive set of catacombs that seemed to be branched around in similar clusters. And there was a quick stop that eventually brought some people's attention as the name Shirlene was across. And there were, I think it was, hold on, it was five, it's like five groupings usually. And this one already had 3 filled up. And there's when you kind of got an idea of why the ship was named it. You don't know why exactly what happened, but then eventually made your way into the room that you're in now, which is reminiscent of that first hallway/dungeon that you came across and then went back to explore a little bit more. You were exploring everything, and then a couple of fire bolts, if I remember correctly, were cast against the wall to see how it was. There's something that was behind it, but then you begin to hear the of mechanics. And that is exactly where we ended. So as you hear the ticking of gears that is going, what are you guys doing?
Elle, what's happening?
Things are ticking. I'm going to go over and look at the control panels that are in the room and see if anything's changing.
I will move farther away from where we entered.
So at this point, Elle, when you go to head towards the control panels, there is actually only one still there. It seems like something has happened where the other ones are not, you don't see them. And there is one, so as you entered the room, this one would have been kind of set up perpendicular to your direction of travel. And so when you look at it, as you look at it, you can see it's kind of almost like an album producer's like bench, except for it's a little bit more cantered. You see, about 15 levers, and as you watch, they're all kind of auto-adjusting. And then there are 5 lights that kind of surround it in an arc, moving from left to right. They're red, yellow, blue, green, and white. And then on the far right side of the control panel is a small, to your technologically advanced eyes, this looks like it should be glass, but somehow it is projecting images in it. So it's a little bit outside of the bounds of what you've seen. And go ahead and make a perception check, Elle, as you look at this. I just want to give you a full detailed thing. With advantage, please. For your artificer shit.
That's a dirty 20.
Perfect. So as you look at it, you watch, there's not a ton of pattern to the levers as they move up and down. There is some, but it's it's kind of hard to really decipher it. But what you really see is a pattern of the lights, and they're going red, yellow, blue, green, white. So that's moving in a almost like because they're set up almost like a rainbow, and they're moving in a movement that looks like they're going from left to right, and it's red, yellow, blue, green, white. And then as you look over at the screen, modern words for something that you wouldn't understand, your character wouldn't understand. You watch as there's little green levels that are kind of fluctuating up and down, right? Just kind of chaotically. Also, just so everyone sees this.
Oh,
timer.
Excellent.
An hourglass was flipped, dear listener.
Farther in.
That doesn't seem like a good thing.
I'm going to crouch and just kind of set my hand on the ground and close my eyes and just kind of sit in non-visual sentry mode.
Okay.
Are there any runes or script anywhere that I can see that appear to be written language?
There's plenty. It just depends on what you're looking for, I guess.
I'm looking.
Because I know what you're trying to do.
Yeah, I'm going to cast Comprehend Languages, and then I'm looking for anything that could potentially be a warning or a user manual. Anything that looks like it can tell me what the fuck is happening right now.
All right, go ahead and roll a investigation check for me, please.
That's going to be a 13.
Okay. So, Skjald, as you look at the singular control panel, at the bottom, underneath the constantly moving levers, you do hear, in case of emergency, or you read it, sorry. In case of emergency, follow the patterns as described in the manual.
Excellent. I turn to Elle and I'm like, is there a manual anywhere around here?
And at this point, actually, before Elle can say anything, you hear the Lord Richter say, anything of paper that would have been made of paper or anything of that has disintegrated long ago. No matter, even my magic is not that strong.
Okay, I'm going to be like, hey, it says to follow the patterns as described in the manual in case of emergency, and this feels like an emergency. Does anybody see any patterns happening?
I'm going to look over my shoulder and be like, so messages aren't always on paper, as we saw from the last time you two kicked stuff, and go back to what I was doing.
Yeah.
Are there any buttons or anything associated near the lights that are flashing that are in pattern?
The only pattern that you can see that you can really decipher is the pattern of the lights of those buttons. So sorry. So I guess I didn't describe it. The lights are also buttons.
Okay.
Gotcha.
Oh.
Can I? Okay, I'm gonna ask it. Can I see if there's anything magical that seems to be?
How are you doing that?
I'm trying to use Arcana. I don't think that's probably the best. I'm trying to be very. So Arcana's more if you know something magical's already there.
Well, and this one's kind of hard because this is outside of the bounds of everything that any of you guys know. Because one, it is also it's so technologically advanced that you can't comprehend it. Yet at the same time, it is so old that no one can even the Lord Richter, who has lived.
Okay, instead. Can I look around and see if there's anything going on besides the obvious right in front of us that we might have missed?
It's kind of vague, man.
Also, I might be misremembering. Is this a room or is this a hallway?
It's a long room.
Okay.
Is SOA there?
Yeah, you're there.
Can I cast Detect Magic?
Yes, you can. How do you do it?
I hear it.
Here? Okay.
Bards typically hear it because I've had seen Morgan do bad things with visuals before.
Well, you're about to experience bad things with sound.
I was about to say, I think it can make you deaf or blind.
As you cast Detect Magic, a cacophony of sound just pounds your eardrums, painfully so, to the point where I need you to now roll a Constitution saving throw.
Oof.
Oh, the whole thing's infused with magic.
Right?
That's a 4.
Okay, so as you listen, you can detect certain things, right? So like you hear that kind of deep thrumming sound of abjuration. You hear the high pitched sound of evocation, and then you also hear, combining everything in the schools of magic, this deep, visceral thrum that's almost a vibration. And it is a school of it doesn't belong to a school of magic. It just is just there, and it just hits you so hard that you take 4 points of psychic damage.
Oh boy.
And unless you drop the spell, which is probably something you would do, you're going to take that pretty frequently as the sound just...
I'll drop the spell after I take the damage.
Yeah, this whole room is just imbued with so much magic.
I'm gonna turn to look at Richter.
I got abjuration, I got evocation, and I got something I don't even know. I don't know.
Are you alright? You look like you're in pain.
My head hurts. A
That's
lot.
helpful. Making something, holding something, and something else. Cool. I'm gonna look at Richter and go, "How's your shielding?"
Well, if anything happens in here, I'm pretty sure that the rest of the plateau will be fine.
Cool.
We
I'm
may
gonna-
not make it, but...
They're flashing.
Say that again. Sorry, I didn't catch that.
In the order that they're flashing.
So as you hit everything in the order that it's flashing, the tenor of the gears clicking kind of deepens and speeds up a little bit. But you also see to the right, perpendicular to the control panel, is another one rises out of the ground.
Another control
Cool.
panel.
What's happening with that one?
Can I get Tasha's?
As you walk over, go ahead and make a perception check, please.
With advantage again?
Yep.
That's 18.
So you get very similar things as you look at it. The sliders are moving, but you can tell. Sorry, you can tell that they are not moving quite in the same pattern as the first one. The same thing with the screen itself; it just seems to be moving. However, the lights are also moving in a similar pattern. I mean, identical to the other one.
Did the whatever the EQ bars are on the definitely not a screen, did those settle down any after I pushed the buttons on the
No.
first one?
No, they continued. The only thing that changed was the sound of the gears, and then the rising of the second control panel.
Huh. I don't know if that worked or if that was worse.
You're not exuding a lot of confidence right now, El.
So I don't know what the fuck is going on.
Should we hit more buttons?
And then I'm gonna hit the buttons in the pattern on the second one.
I need L to make a dexterity saving throw, please.
I was making a dex save.
Okay, good. Okay, El.
21.
Okay, so you are able to move out of the way, but you're gonna take 4 points of lightning damage as an arc of energy strikes straight down onto you where you're at.
Holy shit.
That looks worse.
Yeah, that seemed bad. Are you okay?
That tingled. Wonder if that happens every time. I'm gonna do it again.
Make a dexterity saving throw, please.
No one's shocked by this turn of events.
Oh, he got shocked.
Yeah.
He got shocked. Turn of
Literally
events.
got shocked by this turn of
We can
events.
call
I
that
know.
turn the events.
Yes.
It's a 15.
So that time you fail, and you take 9 points of lightning damage as it hits you straight down.
Sark is going to walk over and pick him up and move him out of the way and be like, "What do you need pushed now?"
Pretty sure that happens every time.
So baby.
Patrice is going to cast.
You're doing a good job, Al. Doing a good job.
He's going to cast Healing Word onto L, and he's going to use his sorcery point to split it and cast it also onto SOA.
Thanks, Curtis.
And then, yeah, let's see what we get here.
So, dear listener, so you understand, I am the worst at making puzzles, and it's taken me 4 weeks to try and find this puzzle. So I apologize if this does not seem that taxing, because I'm not good at it, and I didn't want to always be a fight.
I'm going to gently push L towards the first panel and be like, "Okay, are they synced or are they doing different things?"
They're doing different things. Try that one in reverse and point at the second one.
I'm gonna cast Heroism on Sark. Can't be frightened. You get temporary hit points at the start of each of your turn.
Sounds good. I'm going to be like,
yeah.
You gain
That's dope.
7 hit points back, and you also gain 7 hit points back SOA.
I'm full.
and I will hit the
figured.
buttons opposite of the order they light up in, as best I can determine.
As you hit the buttons in opposite order, the gears again change in pitch and tenor. And a third console arrives equidistant across from that second panel and rises up.
And that's something.
I think this is helping. It definitely didn't like the first try. Or the second. So I really didn't like the second try.
You get electrocuted.
No,
You would have noticed.
All right. Well, then I think this is a positive development.
I'm going to go look at the third panel.
I'm going to go sit over his shoulder this time.
All
I
right.
wouldn't stay close to him.
Go ahead and make a perception check as you look at the third panel.
You know, Sark, I once saw chain lightning cast by a wizard, and people who were standing too close to each other got electrocuted by the lightning bouncing off of other people.
It's a 17.
I don't believe that story for a minute. I don't know what magic is.
No, I know what it is. I just don't do it. Yeah,
Okay.
I don't
I
do
also
magic.
believe that, I'm pretty sure it jumps farther than you are away from us currently.
I step back. about 3 good, solid, full stride backward steps.
So as you look at the panel, the sliders are in a similar motion. The screen is in a similar motion, but now the buttons are they're no longer flashing in a pattern. They appear to be flashing randomly.
I can always punch it.
I mean, if nobody's got a better
Have we tried
idea.
turning it off and turning it back on again?
I think that's what we're trying to do.
That only works if there's a window in the room.
Wow.
So quick aside, because this is one of my favorite stories that I have ever heard happen. I had taken a F-16 crew chief up with me to do some air support because we had gone to a school together, and we were talking, and he got on the mic and was talking to it was one of his pilots, and the pilot was complaining that something was working, and over the radio he said, "Have you tried to toggle the ON/OFF switch?" And the pilot comes back and says, "The what?" The ON/OFF switch. I don't get what you're saying. He said, the fucking on and off switch.
It's amazing.
That's what I'm going to call it from now on. Have you toggled the ONOFF?
So yeah, I had to share. That's one of my favorite stories of any.
So good.
Right, yeah.
Skip the O.
Yeah.
NNFF.
NNFF, yeah.
So what are you guys doing?
What was your result? The random buttons are random.
Yeah. I'm going to sit and look at it for a while and see if it's actually random or if there is a repeating pattern to it that I can
Make
see.
a investigation check, please.
Do I get advantage on that?
What are they that you get advantage on for your artificer shit? Which is now the official homebrew definition of it in our game is artificer shit.
Yes.
On checks related to magic items, alchemical objects, or technological devices.
Okay, yep, I'll give you advantage on it then.
I'm
Like,
rolling
twice
2
my
because
prof.
I'm watching.
You can have twice
Fuck
your
yeah.
proficiency.
I can't say
Fuck
I'm
yeah.
helping, but I'm watching.
How about I cast guidance on you as well?
Yeah, that's a good idea.
Patrice walks over to L and he puts his hand on his shoulder and says, "Levinar, paid you in this quest."
Skjald walks over and puts his hand on El's other shoulder and goes, "You fucking got this, baby boy."
For someone afraid of chain lightning, you got real close.
I don't think it's going to be chain lightning. I think this place is going to explode.
Nat 20. Natural 1.
That's a nat 20 for. Hold on.
That was a nat 20 laugh for sure.
Don't forget to roll a d4.
Drink, motherfucker, drink, motherfucker, drink.
Don't forget your
For your
D4.
D4 on that nat 20.
Yes.
With double prop.
With double prop. Yes.
God.
Hey, it's been a while.
Highest stat.
It has been a while since we've
Oh,
done
really
that.
good.
That felt real good. Felt real good.
I'm laughing because I rolled a 17.
Jeez, I think it tastes better like lukewarm.
That's a 33.
It's super.
Okay.
Might do it.
Man, I feel really good with my 22, but standing next to Al.
34, sorry.
34.
34.
34. He sees through the weave. Like that would be the only reason. Like if I had gone more stealthy and gone rogue, I would have
Right.
double prof and stealth, and I would
Yeah.
do that where I just disappear from.
Just
reality.
disappear. Yeah.
So you watch for a while and you notice that every second time the red pops up, it double flashes. When you roll that well, you get good stuff.
Mm-hmm. Hit the red button twice.
You don't know this.
I'm gonna go through a double iteration so I can hit the red button twice on the second pattern.
So there is no other pattern than that.
Oh.
So that's the only thing is every time that you see like it's so you'll watch and it goes red, and then it goes and does a random pattern, and then red goes twice, and then random pattern red, and then random pattern red. You know, that's the only pattern that you can decipher for me.
Well, I'm just gonna hit the red button twice in a row.
Okay. Hold on real quick. I've got things.
Everybody roll initiative.
Right.
Nope. Okay.
Hopefully it's
As-
a little-
As you hit the button, the first time it lights up, and right as you're about to hit, the second time you watch as it kind of glows, and then the pattern stops for a minute, and then it starts to flash, and then you hit it again, and nothing happens.
Need it done faster?
Try.
I think so.
Try doing the exact pattern that
Hold
it's
it
doing.
down.
Try red and then red.
All I see is all of us crowded around.
Yeah, just all shouting in his ear
and we're
at
all
the
like
same
3
time.
feet from each other.
Patrice notices everybody start to crowd around, and he backs away.
I sense like this is out of my league, and she's just
So, who is close? Who is within 5 feet of L?
I'm for sure. I've got my hand on his
I'm
shoulder.
not.
I'm
Since
probably sharing
kinda-
space with
Right,
her.
right, exactly.
So whoever's in 5 feet of L and L, please roll a dexterity saving throw.
God damn it.
Tight.
Yay!
Oh god. Our prof right now is 3. Yeah.
Yeah.
4. 4. Oh, thank
You can
God.
see the comic for this.
15.
It's just like
Oh, wait, did we
What'd
level
you
up?
roll?
6.
Same.
Ah, shit. This is not good.
So what? So I got Scald at a 15.
Sark's got a 15 too.
Okay.
We're getting electrocuted.
That's why I had a dirty 20, or a dirty 20, or 21. I
Okay.
think I'm,
Either one's fine.
I think
And
I'm
L got 7.
So SOA succeeds. So you take 1 point of lightning damage. Everyone else takes 3 points of lightning damage.
I'm fine.
As the strike comes down, it does exactly as Sark says it's going to do, and just kind of and umbrellas out to the rest of you there, and you guys all take the damage.
And I'm like, I fucking told you. Told you.
At least it's clear when you get it wrong.
That is true. It definitely gives you a
Sark kind of
distinct-
goes, that was fun. and looks back at the board.
Actually,
Also, you have
might
heroism, so in
resistance.
6 seconds you get your 5 temporary hit points back.
So as if anyone is looking at Sark when it hits, you watch as his eyes kind of glow a little bit more intently, and actually, Sark, you don't take any damage.
Yeah, I feel like Skull being like, "See, I told you," and me going, that felt fun.
Roll perception. You got one of those droid ports that you can.
Yeah, could you just handle this real quick? Because that'd be great.
I don't want to see Sark's droid part. I really don't. I mean, I'm interested, but I would rather get a description than to
It's
see
okay.
this.
All right.
I'm gonna push the
wanna
button
see it.
down and hold it till
No.
it starts, till something happens.
Okay. You're pressing it down, and you watch as the same thing happens. That the light, the pattern stops. The slides and the screen continues the same, but the lights and the pattern of the light stop. The red glows, and as you hold it down, it stops. It just goes blank, and then it just it goes back to a random pattern. And even as you're holding it down, the red goes back into its pattern.
Is Lord Richter still here?
The Lord Richter is still here.
Is Lady Prosperance still here?
She is still here. If you guys remember, just before you get Curtis, I have a great idea that you're probably going to say something brilliant. That they did say that they were going to let you guys handle this, so that's why they're kind of separated at this point.
They did.
So at this point, as my alarm goes off, I need everyone within 5 feet of L and L to make a dexterity saving throw.
Nice.
Now I moved away.
Oof.
12.
17.
Okay.
5.
Okay. Sark succeeds. However, Sark, I do need you to make, and only you, a wisdom saving throw. And then you don't take any damage, but Scald and L, you take 2 points of lightning damage. I'm rolling really low right now, so you forget.
5 right now.
12 for my wisdom saving throw.
So, as soon as the energy hits you, you kind of everyone watching will see your eyes glow even a little bit brighter. You lose your equivalent of consciousness real quick and then come back, but like you feel it. You know something has happened, and that there's something happening to you in regards to this energy that is striking you.
I just pick L up out of the way and hand him to Scald and go, move, and double tap the wrong button.
Make a dexterity saving throw, please.
I willingly fail.
Okay, that's fine.
Oh, nice.
So you're not going to take any damage, but I need you to make a wisdom saving throw, please.
Nice.
This one I
Nice.
have to roll.
Hold on, thing.
Gotta be on the leather.
It's not bad.
18 total.
Yeah. That's real good. Right?
It's because I have thoughts.
Yeah. Oh, right. He pointed to his fist when he said that.
It's because he's got thoughts and prayers.
Yeah.
Yeah, thoughts gives me a +2 to my saving throw.
So as you roll, the energy hits you in the head this time.
I tilt up towards where it comes from.
Yeah. You watch as it comes. Everyone, you watch as not only do L's eyes glow, but anywhere where there seems to be a joint, some sort of like his mouth, his like vocabulator or whatever you want to call it, it glows. And in this time, it's not like a white light. There's kind of this bluish aura to it. He freezes for about a good 3 seconds. And then he snaps back, and because you succeeded your wisdom saving throw, so
From a magic perspective, is there anything that is ringing a bell, like from a past or?
make an Arcana check or a History check.
Give that back.
Oh, I'll roll that too.
Totally through that.
You know, because I know exactly what my
15.
modifier is. I got an 18.
Okay, what was yours again?
15.
15. For you, what was it? For each of you,
Use Arcana.
Arcana.
I'll use history because there's no way in fuck I know anything about Arcana.
Yeah.
So let me do Skald first. You
Okay.
you recall that there was something that happened in that that space underneath Haven that affected Sark. That
Yeah.
had something to do with his past, with his memory. That
Yes.
you know, there was something there, like that. You recall that.
Okay.
For you, Sid.
Yeah.
This kind of ties into what has happened to you and how they've kind of the Legion of the Dagger rebuilt you.
Yeah.
In that sometimes elements, you know, fire, lightning, acid, and everything can carry things, thoughts, images, power, all those kinds of things. And this is kind of giving you those kind of vibes.
Okay.
Yeah. Sark, how old was that coffee table you came from? Like, what? I feel like you're connected somehow to this energy.
So what happens when I get? Well, what do you see when I get struck?
You're like, there's a light.
You glow a lot.
You glow first white, then there's a blue.
You absorb this kind of
You
lightning.
absorb it. Yeah.
I like last time. Well, not last time. Last time.
Last time.
How many times has L hit you with lightning?
It's only twice.
That L's hit me with lightning. I like rooftops.
That's fair. You know,
Also,
it's pretty
I have
fair.
no idea. My memory starts on getting assembled.
You were in pieces?
Yes.
Yeah, I found him that way.
I remember
Yes.
when we were under Haven, the machinery there was affecting you in some way as well, like almost like you're having memories of before the table in some way.
If any of it was coherent, I would be happy to share at this point.
No, I know.
Double tap the wrong button again. Nice.
As you reach out, Elle's gonna go,
I'm close enough now.
and then wait for the lightning.
Yeah.
So whoever's within 5 feet of Sark,
Yep.
that's fine.
I'm in there.
Go ahead and make a dexterity saving throw, and I'm assuming you fail. Sark.
So does Sid.
3.
So Sid, you take 6 points of lightning damage, and then Sark, I need you to to make a wisdom saving throw, please.
12.
This time, as you look up, so I'm going to show you guys what's about to happen, just because this is not something I really anticipated, but it's happening. So we're pausing the timer.
Nice.
You look up and you watch as this bluish streak of plasma lightning strikes you square in the forehead. Everyone else sees the same thing, but this time as he freezes, he locks up so completely that he begins to fall backwards.
I catch him.
Okay. Make a
Not within 5 feet.
athletics or acrobatics check, whichever one you decide.
That's going to be a 24. A check, I just add my modifier, not proficiency, right?
That's right.
I'm right there. I'm metal.
Yes.
Something to do.
So no, he's got it. He's got it.
So then it's actually going to be 27.
So you get your arms underneath him, and he is fucking surprisingly heavy.
Yeah.
But you were able to grab him, and you kind of gently lay him down.
Yeah, I'm just breaking the fall at this point.
For you, Sark, as you look up, you almost feel like your essence travels upward with the arc. And we're going to take our first break right there. That way we can we can regroup and get settled and get everything set up, because I wasn't sure if this was going to happen or not. So it's happening, and there's a lot of shit that's about to happen. So we'll take a real quick break, y'all, and we'll be back. Welcome back, everybody, to Campaigns and Concoctions, where I realized that I would cut myself off mid-sentence as we were wrapping up that last segment. I do this. I'm pretty good at this. Yeah. So we also forgot to do drinks last segment because we were so excited to get into the game. So if you wouldn't mind telling us what you made last segment, because it was something that we did.
I did the final. I made the final build of my tongue-tied cocktail that I am going to try to get on our cocktail menu as soon as we pick that back up again at Hey Kiddo. It is 2 ounces of Thai tea infused French Armagnac, half an ounce of Montenegro Amaro, and 3/4 of an ounce of orange juice, fresh squeezed orange juice, oddly enough, and then 2 ounces of 4-to-1 diluted condensed sweetened milk. You shake it, dirty dump it. It tastes exactly like Thai tea, but it will get you fucked up.
All right, and I think Matt, you made something.
So I did a Manhattan riff. It was 2 parts rye, 1 part Amaro Averna, which I hadn't really played around with before, which was fun. And then 1 part of the Genepi that Jared got from Golden Moon
Local
Distilling. So shout out to them. And yeah, it was nice. It was very smoky.
And then we had one more, I think, right?
Yeah. I made a drink that doesn't have a name yet, so it's going to be another brown cocktail 6.
Yeah.
Right. It is a Manhattan build, so it's 2 ounces of overproof Sotol, 1 ounce of Punta Mes, which is kind of a mix between an Amaro and a sweet vermouth, and then it's got 2 dashes of chocolate bitters, garnished with an orange twist and a Luxardo cherry.
Right. So what do we have this round, friends?
Jared, you go first.
Okay, so I built a cocktail called Memories of Ashla. Curtis, I'm curious if you, or Morgan, I'm curious if you get the reference.
Nope. Oh, yes. I
What is
said
it?
nope, and then it came to me.
What is it? Go ahead.
No, I'm not going to say anything.
No, you should. You're the only one that would get it.
Exactly. So I'm not going to say anything.
No, it's for the it's for you.
It's like Final Fantasy VII or something, and
I will share my story. Anyway, so this is 1 ounce Blanc Dolan Vermouth, 1 ounce of
might be like 5.
Applejack Brandy, higher proof.
Some other Jared.
What's the Amaro, Curtis?
Cardamaro.
Cardamaro, 1 ounce of that.
It's a wine-based vermouth.
Yeah.
It's really interesting.
And then it's a half ounce of Orgeat, 1 dash walnut bitters, 5 drops saline, and then stir that cocktail cherry. So I couldn't come up with a name, and then Memories of Ashla. Ashla is Ahsoka in Star Wars.
Yes,
and so
there we go.
It's just all my Star Wars memories are put into this drink.
I knew it from somewhere.
Yeah, I was way over my head.
Yeah.
It's from the Ahsoka book.
I think Clone Wars has it for like for 1 episode.
1 episode, but it comes from the Ahsoka book.
Yeah,
Nice
as soon as you said it, I remembered what it was.
Can I taste that drink? Because you made this for me the other night,
this
and
round-
it's amazing.
This round, I did a Manhattan riff specifically for Matthew. I did. Laws just released their straight bourbon, finished in honey casks.
So I love that it says batch 1. This is the second time they've done it because I have the first one.
Oh, nice.
And it's limited release, so it's
Yeah.
if you didn't get it already,
Yeah, there's
just done
660 bottles or something like
something
that.
like that.
Yeah. So I did a little bit of that. I did some honey, just straight honey, about a Japanese bar spoon of straight honey. And then I did half an ounce of Armagnac, and I did half an ounce of Nonino, 2 dashes Peychaud's, 1 dash chocolate bitters. Stirred up and strained into a coupe with a maraschino cherry as the garnish. Delicious.
The honey
Delicious
really
drink.
comes through.
Yeah. Well, it was honey on honey on honey, you know, and that was the whole point, was to make a very like honey forward whiskey cocktail that doesn't taste like honey jack.
So, fun note with this one versus the last time they did it. This one is hotter,
Nice.
burns hotter,
Yeah.
and finishes with that honey feel,
Mhm,
whereas
mhm.
the other one had more of the honey flavor and was calmer
Less of
overall.
the
Yeah.
less of the
More
mouth
correct.
feel of it. Yeah.
Mhm.
I
And
do
then-
like this is very silky.
Yeah.
Like the finish is very like honey silk. You know,
It is.
almost like when you eat a honeycomb, how it just sort of like coats the back of your mouth and throat in that like silky smoothness for a while, you know?
All right, and what's our last one?
I made a drink the other night with
Fuck yeah.
Jared,
It's tasty.
and it's got 1.5 ounces of cachaca, which is a Brazilian rum-like spirit. It's distilled differently. Don't ask me how.
Cachaça.
Cachaça.
Yeah.
1 ounce of Dolan Blanc vermouth. 3/4 of an ounce of acid-adjusted orange juice. 3/4 of an ounce of homemade orgeat by Jared.
Hell yes.
Oh my gosh! If you haven't made your own orgeat, it's really easy and it's really, really, really good.
So many people sleep on orgeat because they get shit in a bottle that is just absolute trash. Like I was like, who would ever put orgeat in a drink? And then a friend of mine made some, and I was like, I want to drink this on its own.
The first
Like
time I
just
made
dilute it and
I
I'll
felt
drink
exactly.
it like horchata. You
Yes.
know, like so good.
It's not hard to do.
No.
It's quite easy.
Yeah.
It's easier if you buy a nut milk bag.
Mhm.
Okay.
Yes.
Back to the build. I put a few mint leaves in the shaker and 2 dashes of Peychaud's, and I shook the shit out of it to really macerate the mint leaves that were in the shaker with it. And then, because last time I muddled it, I was like, that seems like overkill.
That's fine.
And then I double strained it, and then I garnished it with an orange twist and some mint sprig. And it's got a really surprisingly nice mouthfeel to it.
It does. It's very smooth and silky as well.
And that orgeat is just
Yeah.
cheating. Like it's got
So
substance
good.
to it.
Yeah, it's got a lot of body.
And I don't normally like mint in a lot of my
Mhm.
in a lot of stuff. Kind of just, pretty much just like toothpaste and gum,
Right.
or what I
yeah.
like it in. Like, but like every once in a while, I'm like,
That
this,
fucking
yeah, that's it.
crushes. Yeah.
I am currently drinking a Morgan cocktail, which is 2 ingredients: ice and New Riff single barrel bourbon.
Fuck yeah.
Nice.
The perfect cocktail. Whiskey, ice, glass, and air. 4 parts.
And it's quite unintentionally heavy pour because I couldn't see what I was doing because my niece was harping on me while I was pouring. So,
Love it.
as Sark, you feel your essence traveling along this lightning bolt.
Perfect 4-part cocktail.
Right as you reach the apex of it, you see a kind of white tinted with blue flash. And then you see yourself, or not see yourself, you find yourself in what feels like a familiar yet different body. You move in a more herky-jerky fashion. You are not as smooth. Your voice, if you attempt to speak, sounds much more robotic and a lot less human. And I need you to make a perception check for me real quick.
$17.
As you kind of, while everything feels familiar yet different, you still are able to maintain your personality, who you are, your experiences. You kind of scan around to see what's happening, and you see around you what looks to be almost like a de-evolved set of Eladrin. Right? So they are much more floral and leafy in their appearance. You also look out, and the buildings themselves and the space that you're in is urban, very much in the special edition Bespin kind of mindset, those flowing Alderaanian, spaces. Also, in keeping the theme, you see a city that is not too far away that is floating. And you come to realize that you are also on a city that is floating, that is flying. No one seems shocked by this. And it's not like it's a piece of ground that has been lifted. It is entirely sentient built. You feel something else taking control of the body, and you're just kind of going through and following as you fall in line with a group of very similarly clad mechanical creations, very much like you. It is a mixture of metal, wood, and no one seems to be speaking. But then all of a sudden, 3 in front of you, the automaton stops. And you watch as it looks down at his hands. And he begins to shout. What languages do you speak, Nate?
Common, Gnomish, and Common Standard Sign.
Okay. So, you do not recognize this language. It sounds like Elvish, but it's a little bit more sing-song and a little bit more almost rudimentary, right? And as you hear this thing speaking, it's looking at its hands, and then it begins to gesticulate wildly as it begins to point to itself, and then point to these proto Eladrin, and then points to you, and points to, and it starts to become manic as it begins to move around. And then the next thing you know, you see armed guards begin to come and grasp us and encircle you and the entirety of this automaton collection. Blink. The next thing you know, you find yourself in a dark space. And you hear the voice of the manic automaton going. And it's a very androgynous voice. There's not a lot of... You can't really just discern any kind of gender assigned to it. And you still can't make it out, but you can hear the distress in the voice. And you can't even see any light except for the occasional blink up in one corner of a red light. Red light. Your stress level continues to rise and rise and rise. And then you blink, and then you find yourself back in the room with your compatriots, just that it seems almost momentarily, as you watch as El begins to the somatic and verbal components to cast a spell. And what is it that you cast, El?
Catapult.
And what was your damage roll on that?
28.
You watch El, or Sark, and everyone else, as I believe it was your ball bearings that you were throwing, that you were catapulting, head straight into the console that you were investigating. And it doesn't destroy it, but you watch as sparks begin to fly and everything. And there's the screen kind of stutters for a moment, the slides kind of sputter, the lights kind of go out for a minute, and then eventually it begins to regain it back to its similar self. But you can see sparks flying from the holes of the ball bearings as it begins, that had taken part on it. And El, go ahead and make a perception check for me, please.
Dirty 20.
You watch as Sark just sits, just bolts upright and regains itself, and kind of, when you first built him and reassembled him, those herky-jerky motions that he had before he began to slowly find himself, or you see that happening as you almost see like his eyes are kind of rebooting, and then you watch as the two of you make eye contact.
You okay there?
Richter, what's beneath this space?
I do not know. As far as I know, it is solid stone.
Does anybody here know how to shape stone?
Is there a magic equivalent to LiDAR?
Sark just reaches up and punches the ground.
I think Sark has a spell for shaping stone.
Go ahead and roll damage for me, Sark.
Oh, magic.
It's 2 of these now.
It's probably not going to be as satisfying as you want it to be, but you hit it, so.
It's fine because I'm hitting it with prayers, which means there's a slight flash of light that goes off too. So that is 11 points of bludgeoning damage and 3 points of radiant damage.
So
my left hand on the
vulnerable to
ground.
radiant damage.
Just my left hand on the ground. Does it feel different than if any other like stone or building? I'm sure I've punched plenty of floors of buildings trying to get through for stupid shit we got into before.
I would actually say no, it doesn't. It's I mean, it's very, very sturdy. Like, as you strike it, you come to realize that despite the amount of damage that you did, you're not punching your way through this. Right? This is solidly built. So
That tells me it's the room I think I'm looking for is not beneath us. Because in my head now, this room, whatever we're in with all the panels, opens the room that I last saw in my vision. Whether that's accurate or not, that is what is going through Sark's brain currently.
no, I love it. I love it. I mean, if there's one thing I like to throw at my players is dreams and flashbacks, and it fucks you all up, and I love it.
Sark like moves away from the panel and just like waves his hand at it and kind of like starts tapping the walls, and when he thinks he finds a weak spot, just like punching it to see if he can find the hollow section. And he's just making his way around the room. And has not said a word now.
Can I go back to the first panel?
Okay.
Has that changed at all since the third panel showed up?
It actually looks the flashing light pattern is exactly like the one on the third panel.
Is there a
random?
Is there a red button on this one?
There's a red button on it, and it's doing the exact same thing.
I'm gonna press it.
Okay. I need you to make a dexterity saving throw, please.
Trying to do something.
Yeah.
I didn't have Sark currently in a manic phase that he's not paying attention.
I do want you guys to recognize, and this is because maybe I want to make sure, because we did have a break, that when you pressed it on the first button on that third console, there wasn't an immediate reaction. Just a reminder.
Heard.
Oh, I'm well aware of it. Sark cannot functionally communicate what Nate thought of.
No, I'm reminding everybody. I like to remind you guys that because sometimes the characters would remember what the player doesn't.
Yeah.
So
That's 19.
okay, so you succeed in your dexterity saving throw. So you take 5 points of lightning damage.
Now he's rolling well.
Yeah, suddenly.
It's because he likes you best.
Hey, that means that you did it wrong, but that there's something to do there. How many times did you press the button?
Once.
Is it flashing twice?
I thought we tried that.
On the other one. Try hitting it twice on this one. I say, while getting absolutely no closer. You got this. You got this,
I'm
little
actually
buddy.
paying enough attention. Damn it.
Either try pressing it twice or try pressing it once and then twice.
I turn around and go, the delay. Make sure you push all 3 buttons on all 3 panels during the delay and go back to trying to find a blank spot in the wall.
We don't have 3 panels.
We do have 3 panels.
One of them has a giant hole in it.
Still working.
It's still working.
All right.
It's sparking, but that doesn't mean it's not working.
Yeah. Okay. Let's go. Go over there.
Shit.
We're gonna do this.
I audibly go, shit, fuck. And then I walk over to the panel and I put my hand over the red button and I go, say when.
I'll go over to the other panel.
Are we pressing it once or are we pressing it twice? I say right as whoever says go. Like someone's counting down 3, 2, 1, and I'm like, we're pressing once or we're pressing it twice. Fuck! And I hit it once.
So that's the which one are you at? The first, second, or third?
Third panel.
Okay, third. So you hit it, nothing immediately happens.
I hit my button.
Okay, I need you to roll. I need whoever's at a panel to roll a dexterity saving throw.
I'm just moving along the wall.
Have you
That's a 10.
Yeah, I'm fine.
So it's you 3, right?
Yeah, you still take damage.
Yeah, I take damage, but I take half.
SOA? I was wondering, look at the. Is there anything that you discern from the pattern of lights that reminds you of your musical background?
So hold on to that real quick, Curtis. Let's finish this damage and then we'll get to it.
All right.
Saves.
10.
Okay.
7.
Okay.
6.
So Scald takes 4, and then everyone else takes 9 points of lightning damage. And then the question was if the pattern reminds SOA of anything in her musical training.
Yeah, right. Like musical patterns, musical notes, anything like that.
I'm not even gonna make you roll for it. It's gonna be no. It looks purely random.
Not any music I've ever played.
I like the suggestion though.
Yeah, no, it's a good suggestion, and maybe it is a musical pattern, but if it is, that pattern is dubstep.
Played on Rock Band drums.
Could it be? Could it be that it's flashing which panels we should press? It's flashing once and then twice. Maybe panel 1 and 2 need to be pressed at the same time.
I mean, didn't we just kind of try that?
We tried all 3.
You tried
And
3, 1, and then that's when the lightning struck.
Yeah.
Oh, so like 2 did 2 get pressed as well?
I don't think so.
I was at 2 pressing it.
Oh, you were. You guys pressed it at the same time. Doesn't matter. Same effect.
Same
Yeah.
If you guys press it at the same time, same effect.
Okay.
What did Sark? You said to press it on the delay.
There's a pause for something when you press
So,
the red button when it
3.
goes to flash.
Patrice, maybe you press the
It's
next one.
one.
Let's see what happens with the hair.
Stark stops and goes, ooh.
Skeld says for science.
I will do this for science and for you, Skeld.
I appreciate
I will take your place at the third panel.
Okay,
God
good.
Damn it.
I think Sid said something. I didn't hear.
3, 1, then 2. I think it's a pattern. Press 3, and then in the delay, hit 1 and then 2 in sequence.
Are you sure it's not 2, 3, 1?
I got-
3 is number 1.
I was at 1 and I got hit by lightning the
Patrice.
second I pressed it.
Hit it.
I pressed the button.
You're at 3, right?
He's at 3.
Yeah,
Okay.
Patrice.
Patrice hits it. Delay. Nothing happens.
Skeld does it.
That was at 2.
Yeah, at 2.
Okay.
Okay. Nothing happens.
I hit 1.
Okay. As you hit 1, the tenor of the gears work, and then if I don't know if you guys remember, but there is a door at the far end of the room. That door opens.
Stark, like, Misty steps to it.
He's ready to go to this with 5 panels. Right?
How big was one of the holes
roll
that I
to see
punched
how
in the 3rd panel?
Can I roll to see how coherent that Sark is behaving right now?
Hold on, I got too many guys.
ahead.
So L said something, and then let me get L, and then I'll get to you, Sid. So
How big is one of the holes that I punched in the... Or how big is the largest hole that I punched in
well,
the 3rd?
how big are your ball bearings?
How big are your ball bearings?
Oh, you don't want to look at Stark's droid port, but you want to look at that?
Curtis wants to look at every droid port.
They
Free
are
stuff.
about a pound each.
Well, but I'm not. I don't need weight. I need like size.
Diameter.
What type of metal it is means how heavy it is.
Basically.
So tiny.
It's like an inch.
Well, yeah, that's.
Steel
I guess
for a pound?
ball bearings can be different
Inch and a half?
sizes, I guess.
It's a pound. It's a 1 pound.
Oh, shit.
ball.
So it's like the size of a lacrosse ball.
Yeah.
Okay.
That's fair. I would have no idea what. Yeah.
It's not a ball bearing.
So because just from my interpretation of the way that spell would work, the holes themselves are not much bigger than the ball bearing itself. So, however, what a lacrosse ball is about a tennis ball, so about that size.
Cool. I'm gonna pull out my homunculus as I'm heading towards the door and go look in there.
Nice.
And just toss it onto the top of the 3rd panel.
L's always investigating holes.
Gotta do what you love.
In more ways than one.
You know, we've done a pretty good job of avoiding the double entendre.
I'm sorry.
We have.
We actually have. If you think about it, we have.
This is the second episode that we've kind of gone off the tangent on it.
Yeah,
So-
usually maybe one per episode, and it's one that we just cannot ignore.
Mhm.
Sorry.
Okay, well,
Oh, I'm not. That's not a thing to stop, Curtis. I'm just saying. We should be proud of ourselves that we were mature.
There's one other episode we went crazy down the rabbit hole.
dear listener at home, Dungeons and Dragons, it's just dick jokes with dice.
It's true.
D&D.
Or unintentionally, subconsciously drawing vaginas.
I was gonna say, it doesn't matter how hard you try to not draw anatomy, someone at your table will think your map looks like anatomy.
Yeah. Also, Morgan can only draw vaginas. I like it.
3 times. 3 times.
Shit like this.
Right.
Can't help it if that's what my subconscious wants. Okay.
I'm fine with it.
We're all fine with it.
All right.
Mm-hmm.
We're all fine with it.
So my question was, can I roll to see how much I notice Sark isn't like in his right circuitry?
Hold on, I got to think about time frames here and how long you guys have been together, so I can set a good DC.
Well, it's like, depending on what he rolls, I can give information on that.
Yeah. Go ahead and roll a insight check for me, please.
15.
Nice.
15. That was better than last week.
So I'll actually let thank God Nate's a fellow DM. I'll let him do that one. That's all on you, homie.
It seems slightly more rigid, but it's more of his stops and starts are more abrupt. You are getting the inclination of a child on too much sugar.
I was
over
gonna say
anything else.
I was gonna say meth head, but like
So-
child on sugar makes a
So
lot of
that's
sense too.
so I will,
Basically the same.
as I see
Pretty much.
Sark Misty Step, I'll Misty Step next to it. Yeah, pretty much.
I was not trying to keep up. He knows he's not keeping up with Sark. He's played that game before and lost every time.
So I don't go through the door right away. Like, I definitely get to it, and I'm gonna slow down at that point. I'm like, door, wait, think, pause, and kind of start moving into the area, having regained the caution that I've learned from sneaking through places that I should not be.
Okay. As your foot crosses the threshold and you step into this new room, you hear the thrum of electricity as lights begin to, that classic sci-fi of as lights just kind of fill up an empty space. And as the lights, it is a very clinical, bright white light. You see, let me get, because right there is going to be Sark and Sid. If I get both of you guys to roll perception checks for me, please.
Math is hard. Wow. 23?
Oh, wow. Good one. What was that?
25.
Okay. Both of you guys, as you look down both sides, you see alcoves a la 7 of 9 in Voyager. Without the creepy green lines that are my favorite because the Borg are the best baddie ever.
And it looks like something from Spencer's.
So, but you see these alcoves, and what you see below it are the deteriorating forms of automatons that are similar to Sark.
Holy shit.
This room is a little bit shorter than the room that you guys are currently leaving, but it is also much narrower. It's only about, I'd say maybe 8 to 10 feet wide. And it's just, there doesn't seem to be any electricity that seems to be functioning except for the lights. There's kind of like a gap in the center of the room where there are, it looks like some control panels. And then who had the 25?
I did.
In the far upper right corner of the room is a blinking red light.
Not pressing that one.
Did you stop long enough for us to catch up to you?
Yeah, like
Yeah,
at
he
this
does.
point, I stop. Like for Sid to get into the room, she's gonna have to either like suck in and like step around or slightly push me. And if she pushes me, I just hit my knees and I'm just staring at all the bodies.
There for support.
How much like Sark do they look? Do they look like duplicates?
Not
Or-
duplicates, but they are definitely of the same manufacturer.
But they're each unique?
Yeah.
Okay.
Based off of the position of the light and where I remember seeing it from in the vision, could I tell which of the alcoves most likely had the one that freaked out?
Go ahead and roll. Man, that's a good question. I don't know what to
That is.
roll. That's a great question.
History? Memory.
I think it would be
Go ahead and roll a wisdom check, just a straight wisdom check.
Yeah, that's fair. I
That is
like it.
100%
I like it.
23.
Nice.
So
20.
as you begin to walk in after you rise from your knees as Sid kind of inadvertently knocked you down, and you're just kind of looking and looking as the disturbing blinking of that red light continues to hit you from this startling memory that you just had. And as you get to the alcove on your left, right before the center line, you look up and you see the blinking light. You know that this was where you were. And about 5 alcoves up and onto the right was where that one, the freaking out one, was.
I go to that one and just approach it like what would be a modern day crime scene. Like I'm trying not to touch as much, but I'm definitely looking at it from that perspective. Like whatever remains are there, does it seem to reflect what I saw from the one that stood out in this electrosis induced hallucination?
Make a investigation check, please.
Sid's just lockstepping behind Sark.
It's an 11.
From your recollection, it was fuzzy, right? I mean, it was kind of a traumatic experience you just went through, not only physically, psychologically, emotionally, all of that, but the fact that you felt that you fucking left your body, right? Like it's hard to recall everything, but like to the best of your recollection, you think that this is the right one. The thing that's making it difficult is as you look down, it's not a complete corpse. It seems to have been broken apart. And you can see in the back of its head the burnt circle of some sort of impact on the back of its head.
Sark, do you have eyelids?
No.
Okay.
Think closer to Exos from
Mhm.
Destiny.
I just noticed that you're wearing a Destiny shirt.
I am wearing a Destiny shirt.
Man, we've hit so many good sci-fi references for franchises today, man.
Not bad.
I'm gonna take a knee in front of it and just kind of sit. I don't lose it. That was my roll, random roll for it. Like I don't lose it, but I'm just gonna like take a knee and I'm just defocused, but trying to take it all in at the moment. Like I didn't actually have a mental break, but that's only because I'm stopping focusing on what's going on around me at the moment.
What are the other 5 of you doing? Besides, I know Sid's right there, but
Can I tell what kind of force or impact would have left that burnt singe in the back of the head?
make an Arcana check.
No, I missed. That was really good. That is not good. Nat 1. Fuck.
Drink,
Drink, motherfucker, drink, motherfucker, drink.
We do have to do that, but I can also do a lucky. I'm gonna do lucky.
Oh yeah.
I did that. All right, I'll roll this one next. You said Arcana 14.
14. As you look at it, it looks like something hit it, and because of the scorching around the hole, and it's pretty sizable. It's about the size of the hole that L's balls left in the console. And yes, I did say it that way intentionally. We had to put a little levity in this.
L's balls do.
They look even bigger because his hands aren't very big.
So as you look at the back of the closest thing that you can think of in your mind, because you're unfamiliar with this technology. Like Sark is the first time you've ever seen an automaton like this, Sid. It's completely and utterly unfamiliar in the Nicodaic Expanse where you're from. Like, you've heard of it, but like this is still kind of new and slightly shocking to you. But it looks like it was either lightning or fire that caused this scorching. And with the 14, that's about the best you're going to get.
Yeah.
So I almost kept going, and then I realized, and I remembered what you rolled.
It would have been a 22 if I rolled it in the box the first fucking time, but I did not. So, sad days.
Is Sark still like blocking us from like?
No,
really
I've
getting the
moved
room
in and I'm
okay.
next to an alcove.
Okay.
Yeah.
Like, I am now on one knee instead of that obviously like overcome. Like,
Yeah,
it's open.
Is there anything in here that looks like interesting that isn't one of these like Sark-like beings going on?
Roll an investigation check for me, please.
No, there is not.
Oof.
Yeah, that's a 3.
This abattoir of metal and wood is so disturbing to you, especially in the lack of anything other than like a little bit of detritus of fluid that has kind of dried up in the millennia since this has happened, that it has just thrown you for a loop, and you cannot focus on anything but the blank staring open eyes that all seem to look at you as you walk into the room.
I miss the fucking ocean a lot.
That's a weird thing to say right now.
We're in a weird place. I don't like it.
That's fair. Just what makes it more exciting. Does anybody know how to levitate things?
I kind of
Move things without touching them?
absentmindedly mutter, "I miss the
How
ocean
far are we
too,"
trying to
as I
move?
wave my hand in front
Into
of
the
the
center of
eyes
the room.
of one of these automatons,
Mhm.
seeing a reaction.
Wild, but I could use Gust like 20 million times.
No, I
So-
need to. Otherwise, I just drag
Well,
them.
Gust doesn't damage, it just moves 5 feet away from you.
Yeah, but it doesn't
bounces
pick
it
up
across
and
the
Oh,
ground.
okay, no,
floats
then no, I
across the
can't do
ground.
that. Fair enough. No, then no.
I mean, I got
yeah,
my
sure. I
change.
think that's the only thing I have.
How much can that move?
About 5 pounds.
5 pounds.
Elle, you have some experience with these. Do you think they're deceased?
None of them have
That's-
moved yet, probably.
Sark's gonna walk, like, just stand up, turn around, go over to where the blinking red light is. How high above it is him?
These ceilings are about 12 feet, so it's right there at the corner. So the blinking light is at the very end of the room. As you look up, you can see it. It's just a single indicator light that is flashing, that is up in the corner where the walls and the ceiling meet.
He's gonna do the like kung fu bounce in the corner and just shock the red light to make it stop.
Roll, because you're gonna hit it. It's just gonna be a matter of if you're gonna hit it in the right spot. So go ahead and roll a acrobatics check. I believe is the better one for you.
It is. Perfect. It's a nat 1. For a total of 10,
Oh shit.
it's a nat 1.
Still a natural one. So drink, motherfucker, drink, motherfucker, drink.
Oh. That's fine. Gotta let the dice tell the story sometimes.
So you get that first step and it hits well. Like you get that, and then you go to do the second one, and you're so focused on the light and you're discombobulated by just this, as I said, the abattoir of metal and wood. That is my favorite thing I've said in D&D in a very long time. And you just completely miss the wall, and you hit face first on one of the walls and just kind of slide down, and you kind of collapse heel to ass and head kind of hanging between your legs as you just kind of realized how poorly you performed on your attempt to hit the red light.
Forearms against the wall, like forehead in hands, and if I was organic, it'd be obvious like that I was crying.
Okay.
But forearms on wall, head and hands, and again, if I had tears, I would be crying.
Okay.
Just in the corner under the light that is the connection between vision and present.
Okay. Is anybody looking at Sark right now?
I'm right there. And I say, Sark, let's try that again. And Sid will put her hands out, like as a cradle for him to step in and give him a boost.
Sark doesn't move. Doesn't seem to hear.
You guys doing?
This off of your last one, this feels like a child raging at the moment.
Sark, I know that this feels like you've lost something. Like all the dreams you've ever wanted are within your grasp. But they keep moving further out, like being sucked under. It's a fucking term. The undertow. This is your chance to figure out who you are. We can pull you back together, and we can hear.
I can't hear.
Oh, sorry.
Whatever's going on, you guys. What are you guys doing in the background? I can't hear.
Okay. You can hear or can't hear what
I can. I can't hear what you guys are saying.
because of the
you
background
can't
noise. Okay, because of the background.
Gotcha.
Okay. I know that it's just out of reach and you're being sucked under, like the undertow, and being pulled down. Let me help you. You're not alone. I know you feel like you've been alone. You're the only one that looks like you and can do what you can do. You don't have to do this alone.
Sark will stand up and turn around and look Sid dead in the eyes and go, I don't think I can punch those responsible because I'm pretty sure they're already dead. How do you fix it now?
It's not all about vengeance. That's kind of what I want now. I want vengeance for for my friend, but I don't know, maybe that doesn't bring conclusion. Maybe that's not why I'm here, why I met you guys. Maybe it's to help you.
I think not knowing, even with pieces, is worse than knowing.
Nothing at all? Or knowing the whole truth?
I don't know if those who did this were doing it because a god called them to, or because of their own hubris. I also don't know if this is how I started, or if I was one of them to begin with and volunteered to get changed. Either way, look at how many are gone with no explanation, and I'm stuck millennia from who I was and still have no memory.
Sid just places her hand on Sark's shoulder in empathy and really has nothing left to say.
And that's where we'll take our next break. And we'll pick up here in just a few moments, y'all. Welcome back, everybody, to Campaigns and Concoctions, where we were literally screaming at each other the whole fucking break, and I had to take my headphones off. So, what are we drinking, y'all?
I got one. I'm calling this cocktail "Oops All Wine." So it's got a French Armagnac base at 1.5 ounces. It's got a 1/2 ounce of Remy Martin cognac. It's got a 1/2 ounce of Slivovitz pear brandy. And it's got a 1/2 ounce of Oloroso sherry.
Plum brandy, not pear brandy.
Oh, I'm sorry, plum brandy. You're right. Slivovitz plum brandy. I apologize. I use pear brandy at work all the time. Slivovitz. So it's 1.5 ounces Armagnac, 1/2 ounce cognac, 1/2 ounce plum brandy, 1/2 ounce Oloroso sherry. All of those are wine. All of it's wine.
It needs to be I wined again.
No.
Yes.
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 I did add some cherry bitters and some chocolate bitters and a 1/2 ounce of cane syrup.
You're not convincing me that this should not be called Oops, I Wine Again.
But it is all wine, and it is quite delicious. It's pretty tasty. I'm very happy with it. It was entirely just a concept of I'm going to make a drink that is just entirely fortified or distilled wines. And whatever it tastes like, it fucking tastes like. And it turned out pretty good. Yeah.
Yeah. So I made, we're going to call this the Holy Mole. Because
Nice.
we haven't done that yet somehow.
And it's spelled HOLE with an accent?
Yeah.
MOLE with an accent.
Yes. And so it is 2 parts illegal reposado mezcal, 1 part Golden Moon Distilling's dry curacao.
This one?
Yeah.
Yeah.
And then
Oh, nice.
1 part Montenegro, Amaro Montenegro, and 2 drops of mole bitters.
Fucking delicious.
And like it should probably be garnished with the lime, but I don't. Whatever.
Alright, so good.
Okay, I'm
Okay.
lazy.
So I've settled on him. Bare Knuckles.
Nice.
1.5 high proof whiskey. Used the Elijah Craig 94 proof.
Very nice.
A 1/2 ounce of Galliano, which is itself like 42%, I think. And then 1/2 ounce Grenadine, 1 dash Aztec bitters.
The chocolate bitters.
Aztec chocolate
Mole.
bitters. Yeah. No, not mole.
They're mole
just-
bitters.
They are, but it doesn't say it on the bottle.
Well, they're
Okay.
wrong.
Anyway, they're right.
Man, I
John is
can't-
always right. They're wrong. The end.
Yeah.
Mole is a chocolate-based sauce.
That's right. Yeah. Well,
I would like
You actually both are correct.
Yes. But they're mole.
So
Hashtag chocolate is
I made one more drink. So it's 2 ounces of Infinity Rum, which if you haven't ever made an Infinity Rum, you just pour the last little bit of your bottle of rum into your other bottle, and you just keep mixing them over time, and so you just get different rums in there. 2 ounces of Infinity Rum, half an ounce of coffee liqueur. This time I used the Mizzolati. And then I used half an ounce of Punta Miss, and then I did a dash of chocolate bitters and stirred it up. It's pretty nice. And if you're not noticing a theme, I like to use up my vermouth type beverages before they go bad. So I end up making a shit ton of vermouth beverages in the last few weeks.
Yep. And then you'll run out of vermouth and you'll make something else.
Yeah.
Until you buy more vermouth.
Exactly. Or if I have a grapefruit, I'm gonna make a shit ton of grapefruit drinks.
The next vermouth that you need to get is Bermudo. It is vermouth made from sake. Ooh. And it is delightful.
I agree.
It is
Exactly
very
what
nice.
Sark does when he falls from that height.
Yeah. Bounce. Yeah.
All right then. Thank you, y'all, for your drinks. So to rein us back into the emotionally pregnant moment that we left, Sark is kind of recovering from that conversation he had with Sid. The rest of the party is standing around in the room, kind of investigating what is going on. So what is everybody doing right now?
While they were talking, Elle was handing out gloves to people from his bag because he's got like 6 different sets of gloves for different things.
Of course he does.
And telling them to move bodies into the center of the room.
Okay.
I think Skjald moves a couple of these bodies and then walks over to Sark, just kind of puts his hand on his shoulder and is like, I can't say that I understand what you're experiencing right now. But I can say that I've definitely been through some shit, and I feel for the emotions you're experiencing right now. So if there's anything I can do, whether it's being an ear to listen to what you have to say or helping you punch a fucking god, you let me know. Also, is it okay that I continue helping Elle move these individuals into the center of the room as we're doing?
Whatever's left is not them, so it's fine.
Okay.
What was the language you were trying to read in the first plot?
Don't know what the language was. I'm able to just read any language when she helps me. I don't know that I can actually tell you. I don't know the language, so I can't tell you what language it was. Have I ever seen this language before?
Only in those spaces that like this.
It's the same language that we've seen in the place under Haven and all these weird fucking ancient ruins that probably realistically predate any of our civilizations and any of our existence except for maybe you.
Really fluffy elves with plants. As he looks at Patrice.
Fluffy elves? Like they're furry? Or like my hair?
If your hair was plants.
They have plant hair?
Some of them, I think.
Morgan, can I roll for that?
Sure, go ahead and roll a history check, please. Also, anyone else who is not Sark can roll on that one as well.
I'm gonna use a sorcery point on that one. Back in there. Much better.
I got a solid 18.
Okay.
I got a 12.
Okay.
7.
Okay.
I rolled a 3, so I have 12.
Oh, I'm sorry, 9. I got a 19.
Okay. Sid, did you roll?
No.
Okay. So actually, Skjald is the only one that would know what that description kind of sounds like. And the description is basically, it's a fairly rare subspecies of elf. I mean, you guys know what an Eladrin is, but
Yeah.
it's that. But this does not fit that description per se. It just doesn't. But that's the closest thing, Skjald, that you can think of.
I feel like I remember hearing stories from one of my sailors about a race of elves that are like sort of like part plant, maybe. I think they were called the Eladrin. If anybody knows anything about the Eladrin.
Oh yeah, I know. Yeah, I've read about the Eladrin.
Oh, you have?
Yeah.
I just know that like this guy's accounts probably were not reliable. Talked a lot about Eladrin stealing the teeths of children after they fall out of their mouths and put them under their pillows.
Why would they do that?
I don't know. It made no sense to me. He was drunk. I assumed he was just, trying to be popular by telling stories.
Sid, I need you to roll an insight check on hearing the term Eladrin.
Nat 20!
Hell yes!
Sorry, motherfucker.
That's what I'm talking about.
Streams.
What was the actual thing?
I had a drink.
What was the roll?
Thanks, buddy.
I am drinkless, so sorry. You were rolling insight, so
Wait, 20. Flat 20.
so you know that one of the greatest and most important families of the Grand Regency of Bridgehold is an Eladrin family.
That's the country we were at.
No, that's the one that's next to yours that is pretty much almost at war with yours.
Yeah, that's what I was asking. It was
Yep.
war.
100%.
Yeah.
Yep.
What?
You also know that the groups, the merchant families of the Regency, are kind of aloof from the politics of the Regency, and they don't necessarily support that kind of shit. So
where I come from, the country next door that we're almost at war with, one of the leading families is Eladrin.
Interesting.
So we go kidnap one of them for answers?
It's my family.
Hey, do you guys what I missed?
Amazing.
Sark's like, but
So good.
you know when you mock up something that you want to do before you make the final product?
Yeah.
That's the feeling I got from them. They were rough.
I mean, if somebody knows their own if anybody knows the history of that should be another Eladrin. A place to start. You need more royal people anyway.
Just so you know, Sid, you would know that even by airship,
It's like 6 months, right?
6 months journey.
That's actually what I was literally going to say. Even by ship would be a 6 month journey.
Hang
don't
on, I
know.
got a faster way.
Go ahead.
Lord Richter! Sark's off
Yeah.
off tilt currently.
Yeah.
I just came back from the Feywild not that long ago. That's an elf thing.
That is definitely an elf thing. I've heard that a lot from a lot of different people.
Hey, Lord Richter, do you know anything about ancient Eladrin? Proto-Eladrin?
Primordial Eladrin?
I was going to say primal.
Yeah.
Because I've been playing WoW recently.
The missing link or missing Zelda of Eladrin.
There we go.
Well,
yeah.
let's, if you don't mind, let's table that. Let's finish your investigations down here, and then we can go up to a couple of spaces that are a bit more comfortable, and we can have the history lesson.
Well, El hasn't looked up from investigating.
Oh, I know. I know.
I love it.
Sark will go over to the one that he thinks was the first one to freak out and kind of set it out special.
Okay.
And and end up. He probably had it on him, pulling out his blanket that would have been with his bedroll and draping that one. All the rest of him he leaves.
Okay.
That is the one that Sark pays any attention to.
There probably wasn't much arranging required. I was treating them probably with more respect than he would have a living body. Or a body of somebody that he'd recently killed.
You gotta keep all the parts together, right?
They're
You don't want to like lose a screw, right? You want to even.
It's like Legos. You don't want to mix up what was
That's
in one
exactly
bag.
what I was thinking.
if he was organizing skeletons, it would have that kind of logic to it, but it's significantly more
Reverential.
Yes.
Is anyone investigating anything other than these bodies?
I think I looked around and I didn't see anything.
The only thing that I would say that you probably would have saw was the door at the end of the room.
The other door? There's a second door?
Yep.
So Ursula was probably. Can I examine that door?
Sure. Go ahead and make an investigation check, please.
Okay. I'm not trying to open it. I'm just looking to see if I
you're
think.
fine. You're fine.
14. I'm pretty sure that's like a flat roll for me at this point. So 15.
Okay.
Nice.
Big bump there.
The big brain on Esselin.
So as you look at it, it's a fairly simple metal door. There are some accents, like some black, what looks like maybe some paint on it. There is no like traditional handle. There is just off to the left what looks to be some sort of panel with some kind of buttons and mechanisms on it.
Well, I'm not pressing that. Do you all want to go through this door?
So Sark rolled a 26 to pay attention to what SOA was doing, because Sark's passive is just not applicable at the moment. I'm going to walk up and look at the buttons and then just punch the panel and hope the door opens.
Fair.
Well, you have to say anyway. Sark's not in a mood for subtlety.
No, he's not.
You strike the panel. The metal kind of wraps around your fist as it molds, and then that panel falls off, and you hear the hiss and spark of electricity as the door slides open to the right.
Hell yeah.
No? Okay. I'll poke my head in.
So, about 2 feet beyond the door is stone.
Oh shit.
And you see that the walls end there at the stone as well. And you see it's not like something has like phased into the stone. This is a violent end to this wall where something has been torn away. And you cannot go further.
Found a dead end. Just delightful. This is the best part of my day. It's a dead end.
There's a bunch of dead bodies.
I'm not good about that.
See that?
It's not a good place.
Volume. Speak up.
There was a bunch of dead bodies. Patrice was telling him gently to shut the fuck up about dead things.
Thank you. I couldn't hear you.
I know. I knew as I was doing it in a way that wouldn't be heard, but I didn't know how to like move closer to the mic.
No,
whisper.
That's when you have to say, I whisper.
Yeah, right.
I was gonna look up for a minute and see the wall of stone and show. Are we near the edge of the plateau?
No, you hear the Lord Richter say.
Thank you. That's
We are
what
actually, we are actually going the other way.
Sark's going to go in and like
Is this the center of the plateau?
break out and like start looking at the edges of both the rock and the metal to see if there was movement or momentum a specific way.
And this is more of a Matt question than an SY question, but we're like under Bergheim right now, right?
Yeah.
Okay.
Lord Richter is there then, correct?
Yeah, Lord Richter's there. Prosperon's there.
Lord Richter, when you moved this plateau from this plane, is this the type of power that would cause this to just be a dead end, like so abrupt?
Oh no. This we're not even close. So one, the edge of the plateau, and he points backwards over his shoulder. The closest edge of the plateau is about half a mile that way. And then the other one, as he points directly in front of him, says, is 6 miles that way. This is exactly as it was left.
Not
This-
your doing, but another being's doing.
I'm going to tell you, I don't know of a being
That could do this.
that can do this. And that's a whole other history lesson that I would have to tell you about.
Is the rock on the opposite this side of the door match the rock and like the surrounding of what
Yep.
we're in?
It's totally the rock of the plateau. Yep.
Okay. Well, good news. I don't think we have to worry about the plateau being alive.
Sark sticks his head out from the door. I wish that was the weirdest thing I'd ever heard you say. And goes back to his investigation.
Scald pokes his head in and looks at this this dead end and goes, "Are we sure this isn't just like a mop closet?"
God. That's a big fucking door for small mops.
I'm just saying. Like, they could store other cleaning supplies in here as well. There's a lot of metal and wood out there. Maybe they got, like, pine saw and stuff.
I mean, it could be one really big mop with big fucking rooms.
What's pine saw?
Pine saw
It's a
is
solvent of pine.
It's a pine solvent that we use to clean wood on ships. You know, why do you think ships are so shiny all the time?
I love that SOA does that and Sark goes, no, it's not that bad. Like he sweats.
Right, yeah.
So what are you guys doing right now as you kind of wrap everything up in here? You guys have pretty much hit everything that's in here. So
Taking notes on, very detailed notes on the bodies that have been laid out.
okay.
That's why it's like very much ready to be back outside.
I think as Sid's been helping, I think moved from Al to helping, moved from Sark to Al helping move the bodies and stuff. Like Sid's trying to assess, like, is there any viability these things would come back to life, quote unquote.
Make a insight check, I guess.
Yeah, no, that's a really hard question. 10.
No. You're like 115% sure these ain't coming back.
Sark will come out after he kind of does his initial like look over to see if he gets anything, and just look at the Lord Richter and Prosperin and be kind of looking, like, acknowledge that they're there, and then look up kind of past them and be like, the first floating cities that you know of, how were they made?
This is a great question because I was looking at this and I was thinking, is it possible that all of these beings that resemble you were being used as some sort of matrix of power sources to power something?
So,
That is
Lord Richter
John
says.
peppering in a reference.
Yep, I got it. So, but before I start to answer as the Lord Richter, is there anything anyone else would like to do in this room? Because he's going to start ushering you out.
Patrice wants to ask Elle about the devices that the bodies were in, whether or not those were like stasis or life support, or like what he's not going to know what those words are, but he's gonna ask Elle, like, why were they positioned where they were, and what are these devices? What's your best assessment of what they do?
Fuck if I know. I haven't gotten to them yet.
Well, let's take a look.
And actually, the Lord Richter is going to say, "I think this will be here. Let's return back to the and have a meal, and let's talk about some things." And so he's going to usher you all out, and he's going to tell you about that there has been since he has been alive, there has been no example of a flying city. However, there are some detailed books that he has read that describe some of the first to arrive in the material plane having the ability to fly and live. And it's kind of vague. And it's in ancient Sylvan, which is really hard it's very fluid. It's very metaphorical. It's very allegorical in the language. So it's really hard to say if maybe they can fly or maybe the cities can fly. It's really funky. And he's like, there is some places where there seems to be what appear to be crashed cities. And that may be some other examples of such things. But other than that, it's not something that we know how to do now.
Is anybody physically removing Elle from that room?
Yes.
Zark will if he gets to
so
the
will
other
Skeld.
end of the first room and realizes you're not there and go back and grab you.
Skeld will help with that.
So he's finishing that as you enter back into the crypt. And there was a reason. Sorry, I know there's a lot more there, and we can get back to it in maybe another session. But there was something I know Curtis wanted to do. So I would like to hit that before the end of the session because it may take the rest of the session. So
one quick note that Sark brings up just when Lord Richter's talking about floating cities. It's like, my understanding of the prison where Ovisium is supposed to be is a floating citadel of some kind.
yes. But I was not a part of that creation. So
Do you know who it was?
they're dead.
But do you know who they were?
Oh, intimately.
Why are they dead?
There's a lot of fingers being pointed to Matt, dear listener. My former colleagues utilized that facility to imprison, and well, let's just say that they decided that free will was not a good thing. They were attempting to remove it from every being within the syndicate, and some of my employees put an end to that about 20 years ago.
So you had them killed.
Very much so.
Heard. So who were they?
Well, there was one. Well, most of them are around. Some of them are around.
No, I mean, who was it that made the city that you had?
Okay.
Yeah.
They went by the Teufel Cabal.
The Cabal.
Gotcha. Oh, yeah, those guys. I remember.
They were like myself, the founding members of the major schools of magic.
Right, yeah. Total assholes.
Are there still bodies?
Wouldn't know. I don't think so.
That's Matt.
Sorry, we had a high-level party taking out like 3 liches. There are no bodies left. We know better.
right.
That cleric's on her way to godhood, right? Like,
Right.
we know better.
You met her.
We did, yes. I think
You
I
met
shared.
Foster. A little meta game there. Wisteria is a possibility you guys may meet here soon. I have to have that conversation with somebody.
It's Catherine, not Wisteria.
Thank you, Catherine. Thank you.
Similar characters that my partner plays.
One of my favorite D&D players. So at this point, you have exited the room and are now back into the crypt. And then Patrice wanted to do something.
Patrice is going to pay attention to Lady Prosperin as we pass by the tomb that she stopped and lingered and had her fingers roll across.
Okay.
And as she's walking away, he's gonna walk slightly closer and see if there's any script on the tomb.
So on the tomb, you see it's very simple. There's like a simple plaque that says Shirlene, wife, sister, lover.
I'm gonna go ahead and cast Legend Lore on Shirlene.
Okay. So let me read this again. I'm reading it again to make sure.
Oh boy.
I've always wanted to cast Legend Lore. I just haven't done it.
I mean, I'm the DM to cast it with, bro. Come on.
That's why I took the spell, is because you're my DM and I want to learn stuff.
Oh, I think
It's also a spell Patrice would have.
It is, for sure.
yeah. It's
Very
Glad
appropriate.
I'm at the back having a conversation with a robot.
Okay, so everyone grab your tissues. The first thing you see, Patrice, are 6 small children standing in front of the Lord Richter. You see a tiefling that looks suspiciously like Prosperin, a couple of halflings, an Aasimar, a human, and an elf. And they are standing there, and you hear the Lord Richter in that gravelly voice of his as he says, "Welcome home, children. While you had no parents, I will fill that role for you." Fast forward about 10 years, and you see about a 17, 18-year-old young woman, human, sitting in a pasture of grass and wildflowers. She's pinning something in a notebook, and you watch as her head looks up, and you see her focus on a young tiefling woman who is out in the distance casting or waving her hands in somatic motions to try and cast a spell. A hint of a smile reaches her face as she just looks and stares and watches for a moment before she bows her head back down and continues to scribble in her notebook. Fast forward again a few years as you see this 6 sitting around a table with the Lord Richter, all now very official in their countenance and the way that they stand. You see that they're having a conversation about the running of Bergheim and the plateau. Eventually, the discussion of sending out a new group of people out back to the material plane to gather information and to see how we are, because we've been hidden away for so long. We still need information. Fast forward a little bit longer, and you see in the main square where you had entered after you left the Darkhold Archives, you see flowers strung up around. The entire city seems to have come out. The Lord Richter is standing, and Prosperin and Shirlene are hand in hand as you seem to be overlooking a wedding ceremony. These two look lovingly into each other's eyes. The other 4 are bracketing them. The other 4 children, now adults, are bracketing them as the ceremony continues, and everyone is celebrating, and glasses are being held high, and you watch as Prosperin and Shirlene share a quick kiss as they begin to walk as the celebration continues. Next, fast forward, you watch as Prosperin seems to be in some sort of arcane laboratory. She seems to be working hard on a spell. Hard. Can't seem to quite get it right. You, as a magic user yourself, you realize that this one is one that is dangerous, that can cause harm. Most likely kill its intended target. After enough time, frustrated, she can't seem to figure it out. She leaves and heads back to what seems to be a lovely apartment that is shared with Shirlene. Shirlene is putting flowers into a vase on a table in the kitchen. They come up. Shirlene welcomes Prosperin home. A gentle peck on the cheek from Prosperin to Shirlene. And then all of a sudden, the skin of Shirlene begins to melt away. You notice the effects of a spell that is known as vampiric touch. As the life essence of this woman, this love of her life begins to fade and begins to just depart from her body, all because of a misintended use of a spell. You watch and watch and watch, and you hear the agony as Prosperin falls to her knees and screams as tears flow down her face. The door is kicked in as the Lord Richter enters. Prosperin screams at him, "Fix it, Father, fix it." And he says, "I can't. The cost is too high." And he pulls down the covering over his face, and you can actually suddenly, for the first time, see the actuality of the Lord Richter, as there's skin missing, little small tidbits that are connecting his jaw to his face. And he says, "This is the consequence of that magic, and I will not subject you to it." And she screams in his face and says, I never want to see you again." Fast forward 10 years. Prosperin is on the deck of a flying ship, writing in her journal, talking about how she's constantly searching for that magic that can bring someone loved back to life, and her failures over the last 15 years. Constant failures. And that's where your consciousness returns to the current. At this point, everyone has walked past you, and you're just kind of sitting there. You've kind of fallen to your knees as you are facing this crypt.
Patrice is, he's scared. This is new to him. And he feels, he's empathizing with Prosperin, and he's trying to internalize that loss, and he thinks of his mom, and he thinks of his sister, and he doesn't know if he would. He's stuck on the idea of, like, would something like that change his life so much?
As you finish that thought, you feel a gentle yet firm hand reach underneath your armpit as you're lifted up, and I would imagine your tear-streaked face looks up to Prosperin, a much older Prosperin than you saw in any of those visions. looking down with a warm yet sad smile. Well, she was a remarkable woman. What did you learn?
And sometimes the cost of your love is too much to bear.
It is bearable because we choose it to be. What someone sees as unbearable can be bearable if the heart is strong enough. It just may take time. And she guides you back towards the rest of the group as they're walking back up to the main living areas of the castle. And that's where we're going to pick up in a couple of weeks. Heavy lore, heavy stuff. Woo.
For the record, this is why I said "fuck you, Morgan" last time, because I knew this story.
I knew it too.
I also knew this story.
But now we all know this story.
But I tell you what, even knowing the story, it still hits. It still hits.
Yeah, that fucking did.
So thank you as always, everybody, for joining us on this wild adventure of cooperative storytelling. Please, hey, tell us what you think about this one. This one, that is actually just so you guys have a bit. That's the whole reason this world exists. It's because I wrote that backstory for another character, another game that I was playing in. So tell us what you think. Yeah, that is awesome. We thank you all so much for joining us. If you want to join us again, click the link below in the show notes. Instagram, Discord, get after us. Yep. The points. So thank you as always, and until next time, drink well.
Well.